Yeah, if you can.
Hi Donna, I'm Shannon.
Hello. Hi, Shannon.
I've been on the emails with everyone.
Yes. I'm sorry I can't be there in person, but I
Yeah,
don't cough and sneeze all over you.
thank you. Did you want to start off the intro?
Yeah, so the first thing is call the meeting to order, so the salary commission's called to order, and first thing on the agenda is introductions. So I go around the room, I'm Matt, playing on the city clerk. Shannon, I guess.
I'm Shannon Moore, HR Director.
Carol File.
And Michael Troyer.
Donna Hockey.
And just to kind of give a crash course about public meetings, generally you have to have everything out in public. This is a public meeting. This video will be posted online for people to view. Generally, you don't want to talk about things outside the meeting. So if you want to reach out to anybody individually, you can do that individually, but don't do it as a group, because that would be in violation of open meeting. That's the general crash course of open public meetings. I can go into a lot more.
Yeah, for example, even the emailing, so if we're making decisions about. Like when we were talking about meeting dates, that's one thing, but then as we get into, well, do you think we should also include? That now starts becoming probably more on the line of a public meeting, so
Right.
Especially even email correspondence, it's really important that we're. Keeping things, either respond individually to Matt or myself if we're the ones that have reached out. Or include Matt, obviously, but as a group, once you include all three of you, now this becomes potentially a public meeting depending on the topic. And if decisions are being made.
And just to be clear, I'm gonna be taking a step back after this meeting because the report gets turned into me, so I don't want any kind of view of undue influence or any kind of view that I had any kind of skew at all. So that Shannon will be your main point of contact. And with that out of the way, next option is to select a chair or vice chair. So,
And so your chair is going to be leading the meeting, generally Robert's rules of order are what I would, I guess, look to adhering to. If we're not quite as strict on it, we can always help each other out. If we don't all remember.
So we can be group parliamentarians when it comes to Robert's rules.
So the person who would be chair would be leading the meeting, calling it to order. Those types of things, maybe signing the final recommendation. So, anyone?
any volunteers?
Volunteer. I nominate Carol.
I was gonna say, I, since this is my first foray into the city and things like that, respectfully decline.
Then I nominate Michael. I don't feel good today, so.
Well, you have more city experience than the two of us, but I'd be served if that's what you want.
Sure. I think you'd be good at it. I don't
Okay.
think you need city experience really to chair a meeting, like especially the smaller group.
Okay. Happy
If
to.
you don't mind, I mean, or we could draw numbers.
No, we can make this fast, so.
Okay.
Then the meeting is yours.
Okay, so which of you two would like to be vice chair?
I would be willing to do that.
Okay. So Carol's vice chair. So now that out of the way, we have new business. Overview of duties of the commission. Matt, Shannon.
You can take it or.
You can take that one.
So basically the duties, we call it that, is to overlook or to overview the salaries and benefits of the city council and mayors and decide if appropriate or if there's adjustments that need to be made to their salaries and benefits, or if they need to be added benefits to them. That's basically it. We probably look at comparables to other cities and towns. And at the end of that, you'd come up with a report at the end, turn that into me, and then their salaries and benefits would be adjusted as.
Would this be effective for the new calendar year or new budget?
Yeah, I think it
For
goes, in-
2025?
yep, it goes into effect.
So January 1st.
Yeah. And the other part of it is you're supposed to have the report done within 60 days of after you're being appointed, so now we're already a month behind.
So we could make a proposal with the council to extend our time period to reflect we're now active as of this date.
Yep. Exactly.
Do you need a motion for?
That's actually on the,
Item D,
Okay,
yeah, so we can definitely do that. And right now, as it stands, are we looking at April 8th? If you're appointed on February,
yeah, that would be the 60 days would be. I just want to check, you can hear me okay, Donna, right?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
So let's see. We create a report that gives recommendations. It's recommendations, right? And then
Yes.
how is it decided whether or not those are implemented?
The council has the final authority to actually approve it.
And where's the budget money? Is it just like, it's not?
So,
Don't know.
but it becomes part of the budget process saying, it's like anything else in the budget, you know, this is
it
what
would
we need
come
for.
from- Yeah, it would come from the general revenues.
Okay, so because it's starting at the beginning of a budget year, it's one year, start of a year.
yeah, so
Okay,
we
so
start
that makes
our,
sense. I was thinking it was coming in
Yeah.
midpoint, but okay.
So
thank
we'll-
you.
we're doing the budget cycle, though that does get finalized, I'm guessing by the fall.
Sure.
And I'm sorry, I know the dates are available, but it is, we're gonna be
No,
done
so that
before
there's
then.
public input and all of
Yeah.
it, well, yeah.
And
So
then-
there'll be public input after the 8th, right? After our report, or will there be public input before that at all?
Yes, there is actually a requirement that you have to have a public hearing before you turn in your report, so you will have to have a public hearing. Before you turn in your report.
Okay.
So we could potentially, so this is our intro meeting. And then potentially make the next one the public hearing, depending on what we get accomplished, but if not, then we can meet one more time and then have the public meeting after we have some initial blush of this is what we're thinking for the salaries. Just depending on how much we get accomplished.
Sure.
And does this need 3 touches then? No. Okay.
3 touches being public hearing.
No, there's a 3-touch rule for the city council, but
Yeah.
not touching.
They have to look at
Items.
the item 3 times.
They receive your report, they
Talk about it.
review and talk about it, and then
They take action.
take action the next time. I get it.
So depending on how much we get done here, we would probably, I'm guessing, as we look into the scheduling of meetings on our next item,
Mhm.
want to consider at least 2, maybe 3 dates. Probably 2 dates for sure, though. Because when can we, I'm guessing that the commission meeting or council meetings will be, they have next week off. Or not off, but they're in DC, or this week they're in DC. So,
The next council meeting is, March 28th, where you'll be, I assume, requesting an extension, which could just be by letter. But if you wanted to come to the meeting, Chair, you could just explain it. You can do that too.
I'd have to by Zoom, I'll be in Eastern Washington, but I could do that.
Okay.
If that's best.
I could probably put the letter on consent. And I don't think that will be a problem, as long as the letter plays out like we didn't meet until March and
Right,
we're not gonna. The 60-day deadline, to get the
Right.
work done. But then the following meeting would be April 11th, which would be past the deadline, so you have to have it. We have. to
yeah,
have
we
it.
we have to have a letter.
when would you need that letter by, Matt,
By the
to post it? So,
22nd, no later than 22nd.
You draft the letter and we sign it, and how does it?
that's a good question. I guess that's my question for you then too, is how much do I input on that?
I don't see a problem with you. drafting
Okay.
it.
Okay,
Obviously, it adjusted. However.
It's really
Yeah.
as simple as,
Yeah.
we were appointed in February, we met on March 11th, we need more time.
Exactly.
yeah,
We will complete our work on, you know,
Exactly.
yes. So I'm happy to do that, and then what I would do is send it just to our chair, so that I'm not getting into this potential of all three on there.
mhm,
It will reflect just what you just stated about how we need to extend it because we just met now. And maybe we say 60 days from, what is today? We probably need more time than that because we don't meet until April. So if they meet on the 28th. We can even get it done before then, but I'm just thinking about
Just getting efficient.
our cushion,
Yeah.
of time.
right.
Extend it out as much time as you want to. There's no,
With three of us, how many does it take to make a quorum? Two?
Mhm.
2 technically, but generally I would still make 3.
Right,
So why don't, if you guys are okay with it, if we table when we want to do the extension through until we get an idea of when we can schedule these next two meetings, maybe that will give us a better idea of how long this might take us to meet.
agreed.
I think that's a good idea.
Hopefully it won't be as bad as the first time.
Okay. So if you, do you think that's about good for the overview of duties?
Yeah.
Okay. Chair, would you like us to move to the schedule?
Yeah, go to scheduled meetings.
So, in person is preferable, especially for the public hearing part. If I can't remember if there were days that were absolutely no. that did not work.
Tuesdays for me, I have
Okay.
a half a day of volunteer work.
Okay. So Monday. I mean, it seems like Mondays ended up working well for people overall. Maybe we look at trying to keep them on the same day so we all remember, but we don't have to. We can certainly look at something else. Let me go back to my calendar here.
I like Mondays. I usually don't have anything. I don't know how you and or Carol and Michael feel, but
I think it makes it clear for me as well, typically. Excuse me.
And I don't see us needing more than an hour, so that helps also for people think about if if it's. Yeah, I was gonna say, if the council,
I know, one Monday, like the 25th is a cow, so the Monday before the 4th Thursday is always taken by city council, so you
okay, so we can't do the 18th.
no, you can't do that.
Can't do the 25th.
Oh, the fourth one, I'm sorry. So the 18th potentially. If
The
that-
18th is a,
Okay, if that's enough, well, we won't know and if they've extended. They won't,
March
yeah.
18th is, yeah, you could be that, March 18th,
Mhm,
if you wanted to.
yeah, we just won't know
Well,
our
and
extension.
we'll have data to go over, or
Well, that's part of what today, when we get to, maybe, should we move scheduling of meetings and talk about,
I
Okay.
could.
I think.
do you mind if everyone?
no,
if
I
we
think
move
we'd be able
that?
to move
Okay.
through scheduling really well, when we know when we're gonna, what we gotta do to
Yeah.
get data and everything else.
So, oh, I didn't send this, I didn't pass it out yet. Matt's gonna put up on the screen for you, Donna, what I'm sending or passing. There's two, one says mayor and one says commissioners. So what this is, AWC, the Association of Washington Cities, does a salary survey every year. This is 2023 data. And we will pull this info for our non-represented positions as well to see what's out there in comparable cities. And then as part of our compensation process, negotiation process, we look at a comparable list of cities. So it's based on population and AV. Assessed value or, yes, sorry.
That's all right, I'll ask.
Size of the city, and these cities that you see in front of you are the ones that have been used in our prior negotiations as well as for our non-represented positions. You see City of Sumner, Duval, Mount Lake Terrace, Snohomish, Monroe, Snoqualmie, Mukilteo, Newcastle, Woodinville, and then you see Lake Forest Park as well for reference of what is the 2023 info, which also is for 24. I told both the city, the mayor position and the council member positions. So this gives you an idea of what comparable cities look like, what they're paying per month in relation to what we're doing. Our mayor, for example, if we start with that, you'll see, I do the average without Lake Forest Park. And so that's what you would see if I was to average them out. The mayor per month comes out to 2,241 per month. If our mayor wants to, they can elect benefits. It's an equivalent of a half-time FTE, which means that they pay for a higher percentage on the premium cost to cover employees and dependents, but they do have that option to elect it. And if they wanted to, they could elect to contribute into our DRS, which is our Department of Retirement Systems, retirement PERS eligible position. But that is an optional benefit that the mayor can do under the Lake Forest Parks current setup. And so you can see that the mayor position currently is 3,000, which based on 2023 numbers, and we are, I'd say, in that higher end of the cities, but I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing, that's just data.
So I'm just scanning these and some of these towns, I would have thought would have been larger. So what's the population range you're using to pull?
You look at 50% up, 50% down.
Okay.
So we look at both, basically, and it's maybe not exact
Right.
math, but we look at Lake Forest Park in the middle, and then you go up and down by that to get the higher and lower and
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And assessed value is by property value or by commercial?
So, I'm sorry, I refer to assessed value because that's my, my norm from fire district.
Yes.
So we would be looking at more of the tax revenue. I apologize
Tax
for
revenue,
that.
okay.
Yes,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
no, that helps.
I gotta break that habit.
So again, is that a 50-50? 50% above and 50% below?
Yeah, and I think population is gonna be a big part of
So
what
it's-
area you're serving, as well. And so as much as you can, you try to get that high and low, so you have a better picture.
So but these are evenly weighted to get to these, right? Is that how that works?
No, we have to look at, like, I have to get the cities, and I won't necessarily be able to say like, okay, I know this city is exactly 50%. It's, like, if I was looking at Shoreline, their tax revenue and population is much larger. They would not be like
Right.
5 up, 5 down, for example, if I was to do that.
Maybe I should ask this question differently. Is the city of Monroe, it sits at the 3,600, so it may be.
It's a little bit
It may
larger.
be larger, but let's just,
Yeah.
this is not a good example, but it could be larger, because it could also have less tax revenue.
Correct, yeah,
So, okay,
yeah.
Less what, Carol? Less what tax revenue? Is that what you said?
yeah, tax revenue.
Okay,
Yeah, and I can also put in the population, for example, in there, so you can have that as a number to reference. This was just here's a snapshot, so we have something to look at.
Right.
Or
well, that
this,
would be helpful.
and I can add that in there.
Because I think it's population, but it's also tax revenue, because it seems
Right.
to me the more complicated your city is, the more. Maybe some of the
Like-
decisions put before the council might be more robust.
Yeah.
But we have other issues, I get that.
Yeah,
But
no, I
just
see-
trying to, yeah,
Yeah, I would say that just because we might be smaller, doesn't mean we don't have things that require a
Yeah.
great process of thinking.
Right.
And communicating. It's-
And do council members,
In bigger cities, you also have more resources to inform you.
yeah.
right,
Yeah,
do council members get paid monthly or by meeting? So if they don't attend a meeting, they still get paid? Thus.
Yep.
They do, okay, I thought it was a.
But I'm
okay,
sure we have some requirement about how many meetings you can
miss,
miss or be absent, but with approval of the.
I don't know them off the top of my head, but I would imagine that there is something
Yeah.
in there about participation and being involved. There are commitments beyond just the meetings as well.
Sure.
For example, the mayor comes in and attends the leadership meetings and has some various meetings during the day. And so there are other things outside of that. So there might be a month that they do a whole lot more on the number of hours in attending, and then others maybe less, but either way, the same monetary amount.
Thank you.
So I will make sure to add in the population and the dollar amount in there so that there's context with that. And then the city council member position, if we look at that one, you'll see that the average came to 663. And then we're right in there with 600. And I'll add that to this one as well, the population and revenue.
okay. And, do we know if other cities, review this more often than we do? Because we haven't reviewed it for 20-something years, right?
I don't know when the last time is it, but it seemed like the term of a salary, this is from our
It's,
code,
Yes.
code.
yeah, it's iffy.
Shall be for one salary
It
review.
looked like, I think when I last looked it up, I think it was part of the budget process and it was passed in, I wanna say 2014, but it could be 2012.
Mm.
And it should have been part of our code, but it wasn't part of our code, which caused confusion.
Okay,
So I had to go back and look at our budget and trying to dig it out. I should have had that ready, but I didn't think that.
So then the last time it may have been reviewed was 2014, and you can't have an increase unless you have. So that would imply that these are 10-year-old rates.
Yes,
Any
exactly.
idea of how old the other rates are for the other cities? Because these could be rates that they just put into effect yesterday.
right.
Yeah, I don't know when each of these cities, unless we were to contact each of them and
Right.
find out when they last, or look at their documents.
Yeah.
Online if they've got them, so. I don't know when they're expected to do the review, cause that wasn't posted with the salary survey that I pulled this info from.
But they might be able to tell us the last time that they actually acted on a change. That would,
Oh, go ahead.
that would probably be really helpful
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, I
Because
agree,
Yeah, you'd have to know how old these rates are,
right.
how old ours are.
Is that something we can get, from the city staff to do, or should we contact them?
If you need help with that,
I'll see what I can do initially and if we can get some answers. And then I can tell you from there.
okay, great.
Or at least from the ones that are closest to us, you know, in terms of our size and,
Yeah,
It's too bad Kenmore can't be on. Because they've got it, I mean. They're twice the size the population is, yeah.
yeah, so Kenmore and Bothell
Sure.
are, and Shoreline are much higher.
Yeah.
In both respects, the
Population.
population.
Yeah.
And the revenue.
Sure.
When I had to do this kind of work in my business, we ran up against the same things you'd like to talk about in your proximity,
Yeah.
but it's always about similar size.
Yeah.
right,
Just thinking if you could get to Kenmore or Bothell, is it some of the mass transit issues? I mean, they're not quite probably as accentuated in those areas, but at least they're probably thinking along those lines. But they also are voting down low income housing. So they do have other issues, yeah,
They sure do.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, I was gonna bring it up.
yeah, go
Um,
ahead.
And the other thing that I wanted to bring up was Bothell, the way Bothell does it is with an RFP and they actually hire an outside firm. They actually do an RFP where they hire a firm to actually conduct their salary.
Hmm.
Working with their salary commission to do a report. And that actually takes longer because you actually have to go through an RFP process. It has to be open for 20 days where they interview companies and then the
Hmm.
company works with the salary commission to conduct and produce the report. So that's obviously one of the options you could go with. An example, their RFP looks like it's gonna be decided on by April 16th, is that right?
Yeah,
And then they would go through the setup and do the meeting then with the salary commission. So that's an option if you wanted to. Obviously, that costs the city money, but that
Right.
is something that the commission wanted to do that way too. That makes sense.
Oh, it does make sense. Like I said, I used to have to do this on an annual basis, for a group of organizations and just having the data so that you could explain your budget every year was just as necessary as anything.
yeah,
So there's some value from the proposed independence of it all, which now is reflected in the three of us. It's been 10 years since it's been done, so. I would propose that we take the data that we receive. And if somehow we're not confident that that's going to help us come to our decision, then just ask for more time and a bigger budget, but let's see what we get first.
Okay.
Be my,
Well, that's fine.
And I would bet money that they're using AWC as a point of, the firm will be using their data as a data point, would be my guess.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
next time, I mean, if we did this in another year, just because there's gonna be this data.
Mhm. Yeah, no, and I'm happy to do whichever anyone wants to do, so.
If we're debating spending $20,000 to do a traffic study on 104, I would rather spend my money on that if we need it than.
Yeah, I do think it would be anywhere from 3 to 10,000, depending on who you
Yeah.
go with.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think we need it, but you know, like we said, maybe we'll feel differently down the road, but I think we're gonna get enough input from the public if we raise it, let enough, bring a outside consulting firm in, that's, yeah. Not a good Lake Forest Park resident thing, that's all I know.
So what, for the purposes of the data from AWC, what I can do then, it sounds like I'm gonna expand on the population and the revenue. I can also just reference Kenmore, Bothell and Shoreline, so you can at least
Oh,
get a
that'd be great,
picture of where they are.
Helpful.
yeah,
And then ask each of them when they were last reviewed for their compensation, and maybe they can tell us when they plan on reviewing next as
that's
well.
great.
Thank you.
No problem.
Apologize for Jeanette. In case you hear that.
I was wondering at first, like, is there another meeting? I was like, oh no, I forgot that was going on. So not knowing how long it will take for people to get back to me about when their compensation review last occurred, that's the only thing I can think would be maybe a little bit of a delay. I'm not confident that everyone would respond to me by the 18th.
Next Monday, isn't it?
Yeah, I just don't know.
Yeah,
Sure,
So maybe. You said the 25th is out,
so
and then,
April 1st.
yes, but then I'm on vacation.
Well.
well, how about the week of the 25th, look at another day then, if we can't.
Yeah,
I'm out of town Monday through Wednesday, and I have something on the 28th, so.
Okay,
So we,
What about the 21st?
yeah, this suggests that too.
Thursday.
Is
the
there anything on the
21st.
Thursday, the 21st?
It makes the 21st work. Son might be a public member at the commission.
Perfect.
21st, budget.
Oh, budget and finance meeting.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, cause I feel like we're going to need that data.
I should say that. If you want to meet earlier today, that is possible too,
Oh, cause they meet at 5.
at 6.
Oh, at 6. Okay.
Well, that's one option. The other thing I can offer is on the 28th, if we can start at 7, I can make that work. Or even. Yeah, probably 7.
oh, on the 28th.
Yeah.
28th is a council meeting.
Oh, council meeting. Okay.
Oh.
Never mind.
Yeah,
Does,
I don't have these dates.
right.
during the day on the you said, I'm sorry, the 21st.
21st.
Good for people during the day. Is there a time frame that would work for people?
Well, the Shoreline Public Schools Foundation lunch is that day, so I will be there
Okay.
between probably 11 and 1:30, but other than that, I would be open.
Would a morning meeting work for people, or would you maybe prefer an early afternoon?
I'm fine either way, whatever Michael and Carol need that day. I can do any time that day.
I'm open morning or afternoon.
The 21st,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever, so then I'm gonna go back to you, what works best for you, anytime?
Yes, we have oral board interviews scheduled for our police candidates.
Hmm.
I haven't scheduled the times out yet, but the whole day is blocked.
Hmm.
So now is a great time to maybe pencil that in. Could we do a 4, you think? Would 4 work for everyone?
Works for me.
Okay,
Okay.
Good, wow,
okay.
it's easier in person.
Oh, yeah, just for this reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Zoom and in person.
Yeah,
Yes, I am here, so we're all together
Yeah.
in some way.
Yes. So that should hopefully give us enough time to get the data back. And then if you want to, we can finalize the letter.
Okay.
that'd be part of our consent agenda then for the committee.
Sure.
So that's just done.
Yes.
Okay,
And then they would look at that on the 28th and hopefully approve that, so maybe our second meeting. For the public hearing. Sorry, I am gonna be out of town a little bit. Of April, like the 1st and 2nd. Maybe the 3rd.
Mhm,
Trying to figure out when I'm getting back.
mhm.
So we could do,
If you're holding the public hearing, I would recommend holding it.
yeah,
Evening, yeah, understood.
would the 8th, only because I'm worried about the number of. To-dos that'll be on my list when I get back from that, and we're just gonna be getting, like I said, done with the candidate. Evaluation stuff for interviews for police officers. So I'm wondering if maybe the April 8th might be available for everyone.
I'm open,
I'm open.
I can do that.
okay,
So
so that evening, so what does that mean, time?
would a 5 PM meet the evening report?
Yeah.
Isn't that a little early for working people to attend?
That's what I was about
so-
saying.
6, isn't that when our other ones start, is 6?
Generally 6, usually our hearings start around 7.
Oh, okay, well, whatever works, I don't wanna,
6 is, I mean, it's up to the commission, what time.
I would rather be safer with a public hearing on this at 7 personally.
Yeah, let's not,
I feel.
let not time be the issue.
no.
So 7, is that what we just said?
7 PM on April 8th. Which is
Uh-huh.
a Monday. And we'll consider, I'm sure we would have enough together for the public hearing by then. And if
Yeah.
we don't, we do have a little bit of that buffer time in between that we can maybe work out something. To get together if we needed to, what maybe before the 8th.
Sure. And
And
how,
then-
how do you advertise that? Do you send that to the whole listserv of residents?
Yeah, we do a newsflash, post it online, we post it on the website. If you wanted to, we could send it to the newspaper, though it would be in the public notices in the newspaper.
The Shoreline Area News, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, we could do shoreline area news. but
Yeah, I would
Talking
like,
about the Seattle Times,
okay.
the actual newspaper.
Oh, okay. But yeah, the Shoreline Area News people tend to read, I think.
Yeah, they generally pick up our news flashes and republish. So
Yeah,
they're-
okay.
That's a good thing, right?
Yep.
You want,
Yep.
want transparency and opinion.
Yep.
Okay. So after the public meeting, based on feedback, that forms the basis of our report.
Right.
And then you said the next council meeting is the 11th of April.
Yeah, but I highly doubt that you'd have your report done.
Right, and that's why, so then is the one after that, the second,
25th.
April 25th.
April 25th, okay.
And when we present the report, is there some format that's preferred?
I have to look that up.
Yeah, we can see what they've done last time. My guess,
This is actually new for like Forest Park, so we'd have to actually look at some other kind of.
so when I do it for the, non-represented staff, it's similar to, I'll basically say, here's where I pulled the data from, reference that, so, and the why, right, of why we're doing this. Provide some context, so if I need to include, here are the cities that we looked at, based on this and the information that we gathered, this is our recommendation, and that is just kind of in a PDF at the end of it all, but
Okay.
yeah, I don't think, at least when I've done them internally, it seems sufficient to at least have that. And if you want, you can always, really, sometimes I'll also take a picture of, basically insert a picture of the data to go along with it, so that you have that corresponding info.
So, I mean, let's, perfect world, potentially have the report to the council on the 25th of April, but the report is being issued to Matt, so how far in advance of that meeting would you want?
The 19th.
The 19th preferably.
Right, because you post all that information before the meeting on the website.
Yeah, and I'm not even actually sure. If I actually have to turn it into the council right away. Because I think the code just says you just turn it into me.
Oh,
If we get a lot of feedback for changes after the 8th, do we want to put a third meeting, a working meeting on the calendar?
yeah, we should.
That's a good idea.
And we can, if we need to, we can always adjust later if we need to reschedule or cancel or something, as long as we give enough notice. So, let's see, we're seeing the 8th. So, let's see, if, I just don't know what the feedback would be, but we could potentially look at the 22nd, or we could look at, I'm sorry, the 22nd of April. Or, because that gives 2 weeks, unless you want to do something the week of the 15th of April, we could put something on the calendar the week of
Yeah.
the 18th.
Week of the 18th to the 15th, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, the week of the 15th.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was,
So that,
unless they have a meeting scheduled.
actually, it doesn't need any council authority, it just gets put into the budget,
Oh,
so it just gets turned into me. See that?
Oh, no kidding.
Yes, the council.
Yeah, after 60 days.
next
Kyle,
payday, so,
City clerk, any increase or decrease in the salary shall be notified without further action.
Right.
Okay, city,
if you see that though,
yeah,
the salary increase shall be effective on next payroll
Yeah.
payday for city employees.
For what?
Where
you
under
highlighted.
C, the last sentence, a salary increase shall be effective on the next payday for city employees. So. What I probably need to do is circle back with our finance director to make sure the timing of it. Of what they need for their budget, this is gonna be outside of the budget cycle.
So the effective date was.
It'll be whatever follows our recommendation. And. And that's where I'm wondering, because I know that the budget committee, finance committee. They're currently going through pulling numbers right now and doing a snapshot, so I'm curious if there's a timeline that is good to fit their timeline on when we need this or if it matters.
Find those out.
Yeah.
You don't need me to talk to somebody or.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Maybe that's about as far as we can plan out.
yeah, just do the 8th for now. April 8th.
I don't know if you wanna put an extra meeting in there to decide after the public hearing or decide at the public hearing.
I think we were talking after.
So I don't know,
Yeah.
same night,
Same night, make the decision.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
What do you think about that?
I'm. You know, it's up to the commission to make that determination, if you have enough information. After the input from public to make that, or you wanna sit on it.
Well, if we choose a working date, you know, because we assume that we got things to work through, but we find that everybody's in agreement with where what we're talking about, then we can
Mhm.
just cancel a meeting too at the same time.
Exactly.
So do we look at, just for putting placeholders into our calendars, pick the 15th as another meeting? Would that? Does that,
Yeah,
I like to have placeholders,
Yeah,
because life gets busy and then I can say,
Absolutely.
no, I can't do that because I have a meeting.
yes. And if there's already stuff on the calendar, do you mind checking that? Thank you.
15th should be open.
great to have extra time on tax day.
Oh, yeah.
Yesterday, finally.
That's why I was like, why is the 15th? I feel like there's something going
Sounds
on.
familiar, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
So,
what time on that day?
Well, we want to be public again, so
Um,
so
oh,
7 o'clock.
7? Okay.
Well, it's not a public hearing, but.
It's not.
It's still a public meeting. Just as long as it's open to the public, you know, anytime.
yeah, so that's where the public hearing was important for the 7 PM.
Okay, so we can make it earlier if we want it.
Yep.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Because
I'm
because
okay.
people will be giving us input from the public hearing, so.
Right, exactly.
Okay,
So then 5 o'clock on the 15th?
whatever works best for you guys, I'm open that day.
say 5 o'clock,
5 o'clock.
Okay, I'm hearing 5.
so we'll
On
pencil.
the 15th. So to circle back to the extension date that we'll be requesting, perhaps just to give us a little bit more of a buffer, we could say May 1st. Or would you say May 15th?
2 weeks.
Yeah, more than what we would need.
Yeah,
Mhm,
I would assume. Something
yeah.
abnormal came out of the.
Yeah, I don't see it being much longer, but to your point, I'd rather have more time than have to go back for a second extension.
So we're extending to May,
uh,
2015.
July 15.
yeah,
that's good, because I leave on the 9th of May for 2 weeks.
So if this schedule we talked.
Actually, I might be gone on May 15th, so I haven't,
Well,
yeah. What day is
That's
that?
good, though.
Is that a Monday?
it's a Wednesday.
Yeah, I could very well be gone, but
Well, we could always just say like May 31st, right? I don't think we're gonna need it,
Okay.
but it's just to give us a buffer in case. I don't know, something comes up.
I like May 31st.
I'll only
Be
be
gone.
gone part of that week, but I know that I'm probably leaving on Wednesday, so, okay.
If necessary.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that we
But
would
May
need it.
31st.
Okay,
no, but
that way we don't have to go back a second time if for some reason. Something happened. We don't have a quorum, a
like
majority.
somebody gets sick, like I did today, yeah.
Right. So we'll assume that our letter can be in the consent packet. And I'll be prepared to Zoom. Because somebody might pull it out and
Exactly.
want an explanation and.
Exactly. As long as it's clear in the letter, which I don't think there will be a problem, but should be. We could do that.
It's my son's 40th birthday and all the family's going to Eastern Washington,
Oh,
go
that-
fishing and do stuff for a couple days and,
That's awesome.
yeah.
That would be so fun. Well, and you could always have your chair. Help,
Vice chair.
Advice.
vice chair.
And what day, it's okay, let me make sure that I'm available.
March 28th.
Shouldn't have a problem, but let's see what time the council meetings start.
So,
7, I should be fine. But I will put it on my calendar because I have something until 6 o'clock that night. But,
And you could also Zoom as well.
well, I won't be in a Zoom position,
No,
so, no, that's okay. I mean, I personally don't think we're gonna need it.
No,
But I will be your backup because I'm your vice. That's what I agreed to do.
we almost made you chair before you came on, Donna.
You almost say what, me a chair?
Yeah,
Yeah, I just feel too crummy today to even think about it, so sorry.
you can see it in your cheeks.
Yeah, in your eye.
Yeah, it's really bad, but at least I'm here.
I actually have another question on, our mayor can elect the benefits, but how many of these other mayors get benefits? Do we know that?
I can ask if they didn't put in their
Offer it, yeah.
comments if it was offered or not, so that can be a question, just.
And what
see.
is, if the mayor were to elect benefits, you must have some idea, if you ignore, well, no, yeah, how much would that be out of the city's pocket?
So it depends on the plan that they pick.
Okay,
One of the things I will say is it's hard to compare health plans.
right,
It's gonna be very much apples to oranges. So I can certainly just give you what premium costs are with that in mind, but I would also say that's probably a hard thing to make an equivalent of when you're looking at the compensation.
well, and I think not in terms of the level of, or the amount of compensation, but whether or not these cities even offer it. That's what I mean, because if the cities don't offer it, then
Yeah,
our compensation package would be greater than theirs.
Correct.
Because of the election. So, and how far back does that election for benefits go? Can we find that out? Is that, was that something, was it always, has it always
Like
been that way?
first part, when you
Yeah.
Oh.
initiate giving election.
I can ask and see if
I'd be
there are
curious.
people at AWC who we use for the benefits, has that info.
Oh, so we wouldn't have it inside our own, HR documents?
I'm not
Okay,
sure,
well,
so I started here in
Okay.
22, so
Okay.
the historical knowledge of
Yeah.
that, I'm not sure.
I mean, because I wouldn't want to take away, but if it's something that.
I
Yeah,
think that our past mayor did have it, and so how many terms, how many years? was he?
Yeah,
He was
so-
just- He was one
So-
term.
no, used to.
Jeff was two?
Yep.
yeah,
Oh,
So I believe that he had it.
well, he
with
could have,
both
yeah,
Terms.
yeah, but
So-
then Yeah. It actually supposed to.
Oh, so how far back?
I mean, I don't know if that's, is that a valid question to ask? I mean, I think it's a valid question to ask if the other cities have it.
The fact that you're asking the
Uh-huh.
question
Yeah,
means that somebody else will ask the
Yeah.
question, and the more questions we can
Yeah.
answer like this, the better.
Okay, thank you.
yeah, I think it's valid. And do the council members, are they able to expense anything when they go to meetings and for gas and all that?
Yes,
Oh, really?
they do, we do,
That's
if it's a city related event. We do pay for meals, like, for example. The couple of council members are going to the National League of Cities next week, and their stays and flights and meals are compensated.
Okay. And when they go to these local meetings, same thing? You know, they all go to these different, they're, all of them are part of some other group that they,
It's right, they represent the city, and I have not seen, no one's turned in any expense reports for the meetings to attend outside agency meetings.
okay,
Like, no one's turned in any mileage for going to Seattle to attend a meeting.
No, but it'd be a common thing for the cities to reimburse for
Yeah,
something that aligns totally to their position.
exactly.
Yeah,
So is there ability to turn in expense reports, something that's documented in the, whatever?
Yeah, but
So do they
that would
know
be
it?
harder to track, to compare it to other.
Oh, I'm just wondering if they know, I mean, you said you haven't seen expense reimbursements requested, but wondering if it's something that they know that they can do. That's the question.
Think they do, for
Yeah,
the most part, I guess, but I think generally if they're going. Because a lot of those meetings too are on Zoom nowadays, so they don't have to go.
I can ask though if there's, if the historical data that we can pull and then see if there's a policy that we can also.
I just think that, I mean, I don't know why Donna asked the question, but I sit back and think that. I mean, they're entitled to, I would think mileage, if they're driving into Seattle every other week for some event that's required by the city or that benefits the city, and just wanting to make sure that they understand that they can ask for those reimbursements. So I don't know that I'm looking to find out how much, it's just whether or not, when you say you haven't seen expense reimbursements, it's like, do they know? Can they?
I would hope they have,
Yeah.
but that was ever communicated to them, so I don't have an
Yeah,
answer. off the
so
top.
in terms of other cities, I don't, or what they've done historically, I don't. That's not my question.
Yeah, you just wanna know if it's something that people are accessing.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'll see about finding any policy related to that as well, so that the group can look at that. And find out if we can look at what the history in terms of are people accessing it, maybe number of claims or something to that effect. If I have a number, I can just share the number too, but I will ask the question. And some of these things too, I can share before the meeting so that you have the answers at least to come in, and then we don't have to spend the time reviewing information so much from a new perspective, but then more of a working meeting
right.
going forward.
sounds good.
I don't wanna ask for information and have them take time when it's not a valid question, so does anybody see the value of her going through and trying to figure out if people are turning it in? Because really, I'm just looking for. the
No.
policy.
Yeah, I just want the policy too, whether they can or can't
That's.
is
I don't
what
know.
I'm most interested in.
Yeah, so I don't wanna take your time having you drive through information that it's really, it's just understanding if the policy is clear to the city council members. This is my question.
Yeah, I agree, Carol.
You can also, as maybe thought, reference it in the report, whatever your final report is.
Yeah.
That you can consider the reimbursement policy and these other miscellaneous benefits like travel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that it's there.
All good things. These are all great things to bring up. So what I'll plan on doing is working on pulling together this info from these cities, and then I'll share that if I can prior to the meeting, just so you have a copy of it to look at. But that will also be the document that we work on at the meeting. If there's something that you see that I might have forgotten though, from our conversation, or might need clarification, just email me directly, not the whole group, and then just let me know, hey, this doesn't look right. Or we talked about adding something that you didn't have in there. That would be great.
Sounds good.
So then I have it for our next meeting. It's gonna be the 18th at 4 p.m. of March 18th, 4 p.m. Will,
18th or the 21st?
21st.
I have the
oh,
21st.
I'm sorry, I wrote that wrong.
That's okay.
I'm so glad that I asked then.
Yeah, I thought it was me, but
No, I wrote that wrong. The 21st, we weren't doing the 18th thing. Because we wanted more time, so the 21st. March 21st, 4 p.m. And then I'll hopefully have all the data collected by then so that we can have a working meeting on the 21st, and then I'll work on drafting the extension letter to send to council, so that can be looked at and approved, signed, to give to them by the 22nd, the council, I mean, by the 22nd. For approval on the 28th. And if for some reason, which I don't see them not approving it, but if for some reason it's not approved and we only have until the 8th, then we can.
We resign.
Big breath of alternatives, so.
That's an option too.
I was gonna say, we can make the 21st. Suddenly a working meeting, and then part 2, no, we'll figure it out. I don't see them not doing that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, this was the one you were referring to, okay. And then I guess too, on the 21st, if the data looks like it's something that you would like more info from a request for proposal, then we should talk about that maybe as an agenda item for the 21st.
sounds good.
I call you and create the draft agenda for the meeting, or you got it?
I think I got it.
Yeah,
It'll be very similar to this.
Yeah.
And I'll probably say, Matt, does this look like everything you remember too?
Yeah.
but you won't be at the next one.
No.
Yeah.
Try to be a stamp office.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Do these be meeting minutes or,
You'll have to,
okay,
minutes to be approved at the next meeting.
okay. Thought so, but I was like, let me just make sure it's,
So that'll go to the group. The commission.
yes, so I'll type up the draft meeting minutes for review and approval at the next meeting. Anything else?
Any other questions?
I can't think of anything else right now, but thanks, Michael and Carol.
Well, thank you, but I do, let's see, the big thing from the finance people is determining when any increases were going, right? And what,
Yeah.
okay. All right, and then can we also say that, I mean, if it's a problem for them, well, I guess it's in the, whatever you call the rules.
The municipal code.
Yeah, the municipal code will always govern over, like, if we suggest that it goes January 1st of 2025, the municipal.
Can
code
we
is
make
what-
that suggestion, or would that be?
I was just wondering if it's a problem for the finance department. Okay, all right,
I think,
yeah.
they'll just make it work, whatever's in
Okay.
there, ultimately.
all right. And then the big thing is just getting the new numbers in here, right? The
Yes.
add twos. Okay.
Yes.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, next.
Monkey with the code only when it's not working for your process of business.
Right.
Yeah, not every time.
No, and if we give her a heads up now too, then she'll be able to make things work. I was just thinking I should let them know. Okay,
Hey,
we are adjourned at.
Thank you for making it easy.
yeah, thank you, everybody.
For adjournment, is there a move?
I think we
Yeah.
could just
Move
adjourn
to,
it.
yeah,
We're adjourned at.
Okay,
second. Whatever.
perfect, yeah.
6:09.
We did